am I? Let's see. I would love for you to say hello, say comment. Just come on in and say hi while you're here. I'm so excited for us to talk today. Today is February 1st. Can you believe? 2021, February 1st. Oh my goodness. And this month, I want to also dedicate this. Is this? Okay, that's global. Good. Hey, Meredith. Good morning. Good morning, friends. Hopefully you can hear me good, even if you can't see me well. So hopefully, and you'll get a better replay in the email. So want to kind of chat about some stuff. Let's see. Okay. Get my little notes up so I don't forget anything. So I think I shared with you guys a while back that last week I attended a conference for my coach, which I love her so much, Coach Jenny. She's just a wonderful, wonderful human, and she helps me get through all my things. And she's not just a business coach; she's she if there was a person that I attribute the no bullshit part of my tagline for spiritual, practical, and no bullshit. She's the inspiration for that because she calls me on my shit. But spent the last Thursday and Friday with her and with a group of lovely humans, and gave myself permission to make some changes as we move into this 2 month, which 2 is all about the divine manifesting into the material world, among other things, creating balance, all kinds of stuff. And we'll talk about that later in the month. So February, all the things we're going to talk about in February are going to be all about love, but not like in the, high school, like give out the Valentine's kind of love. It's going to be more like self-love and manifesting and why it's important and how to attract those perfect partners or deepen your relationships. We're going to talk about love in your business, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to happen. Some of it will happen here in the Messy Bun. Some of it will happen over on Clubhouse. And hey, woo, Jason in the house. Yes. Anyway, I want you guys to know that all the changes I'm making, I've been guided to by Spirit and am totally comfortable with. And if you don't want to follow, that's totally okay. But I feel like these are really good. So number one, we're changing the time because I have a 10 o'clock that sometimes goes till 10:30, sometimes goes to 10:40, depending on how chatty the group is that I attend. And I felt like a lot of times it was crunching up against this and how well I prepared for this and where my energy was. So I want to make sure that I show up 100% for you guys. So know that the reason I'm changing it to 11 a.m. on Mondays Central Time. So for East Coasters like John Paul and Meredith, this is noon. And for everybody else, it's 11 Central, 10, the people that are in that in-between area. And then on Pacific Time, it'll be 9 a.m. With that in mind, I wanted to make sure that I show up 100% for you guys and have a really good blurb. So that's like a newsletter thingy up there, just kind of saying, here are the high points of what we're going to talk about today. And then the next thing that's going to change, and I hope this is good, and actually I think it's going to be really good because I'm going to move the Messy Bun over the course of the next, hey Julia, I'm moving the Messy Bun off of Facebook for the live stream portion. The replays I will put there, but as far as like us interacting like we are right now, like Meredith, John Paul, Julia, all the people that normally join us today, and again, I totally get that it's retrograde and it's kind of really weird. So I don't know if this is streaming into the event. I don't know if it's streaming on my timeline. I don't know where the fuck it is streaming, but I know you guys are finding me, so that's good. But what I want to do is make sure that if you want to be here live, I want to do two things. One, we're going to move it over to a private YouTube room starting in 2 weeks. So I'm going to give you guys 2 weeks to kind of transition, but don't worry, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it so you don't miss a flipping beat. Now, number one, the reason why I'm doing this, number one is if I'm trying to teach you how to monitor and manage your energy and your thoughts, because thoughts become things. We're in the age of Aquarius, so it speeds it all up, all the stuff we've been talking about, right? But then I use Facebook is a platform to teach you guys on, I'm inviting you into the epitome of a place where it'll be a huge challenge for you to manage that, because the whole goal of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of those kinds of social platforms is to make sure you stay on the platform. So they will find your trigger mechanism by, like, whether you're commenting or liking or whatever, and poke you every time they see you kind of wander in to distract you and send you down a rabbit hole, which might kick you off of your vibe. I don't know about you, but the last year taught me that Facebook is not the place to go if you want to manage your vibe the right way. So, not to say it's not fun, not to say I'm leaving it entirely. I'm not going to do that. But if I'm teaching live and in person like this, if I am teaching, it's going to happen off of Facebook, because I want to make sure that I'm not teaching you one thing and setting an example of another, because that just to me is shitty. And I don't want to do that to you guys. So that's why I'm going to move this to a private YouTube channel. And we'll see how that works. And if that doesn't work, I have one other place where I can move us to where we can stop. And the cool thing about that is those of you who come and join the live stream, like now, where we can chat, you're going to comment and I say hello and all this kind of stuff, you know, all of that kind of thing. We're going to do that where after I do the weekly energy thing, if you're in the live stream with me, we can stick around for a few moments afterwards, do kind of an after party and do some Q&A. You guys ask questions. I'm happy to answer them. Not readings, but like questions about manifesting and what we talked about in the topic of that particular messy bun. Okay. So if you want to do that and you want to know when the messy buns are and the secret, super secret links, there's a link right here at if you go up here, and if you're on YouTube, I think it's down here, but on Facebook it's up here. So there's a link there that's to join my VIP list that goes directly, and it's solely for the messy bun, and you get put on the mailing list for all of the juicy details of everything. But for you to join live with me for the messy bun every single week is free. I'm not putting a paywall or any of that business. I'm just changing the space we're doing this in to be a more supportive space to your manifesting and spiritual journey. That's all we're doing. We're just moving, and I want you to that's my change of address card, and I want you to come with me. So if you want to go ahead, not right now, but click that link and sign up so that I have you, and make sure that you'll probably get an email either Sunday or Monday just reminding you, hey, this is where it is. This is your special link on YouTube. Come and hop in. Now, just like always, though, the replays at the end, I will be putting on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, in your weekly email newsletter. This is just if you want to be with me live and hang out every Monday for a little bit, get your reading for the group, and then also ask some Q&A. That's your opportunity to do it, and I would love to see you do that. So click that link. Third thing is reminder, it's Mercury retrograde. I already had this problem when I was setting up the mail page so that you guys would sign up and everything would flow good. Y'all, I already had to call my help desk and be like, what happened to the page where I click when they do this? And like literally had to go back and forth with MailerLite about the success page, but it's there now. They helped me this morning. Mercury retrograde this time around, like I said in the other video, it's gonna like shoot from the hip regarding your technology. So just go with the flow. Don't freak out. Just ask for help and it'll be there. Don't worry. If you're having trouble with your mindset, hop over to my school. It's $44, 31 days of manifesting mindset. It will help you. It's a daily email that gives you an affirmation, a podcast, and a journal prompt to help get your mind going the way it's supposed to. Okay. That's down. It's either up here or down there, depending on where you're watching this. You have a link there too. And lastly, before we get started, Clubhouse. If you are on Clubhouse, I'm going to be doing some Clubhouse stuff. Like tomorrow, we're going to do Woo's Who Lunch. If you are a woopreneur, and that doesn't just mean card slingers and healers and Reiki people. That means, say you're an accountant, but you're a metaphysical accountant. Come on to Woo's Who Lunch. Tomorrow's the first one that I'm doing to see if it works. And just networking, saying hello, doing your elevator pitch or your intro, and then maybe sharing some ideas of what we want to talk about so I can create conversations on an ongoing basis for those of us who want to network that are also metaphysical peeps. Okay, those are my announcements for the week, which I know is a lot, But just, people are probably wondering, where the hell did she go? La, 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 la. This is where I'm going. We're going to be at 11, and we're going to, by the end of February, be totally in a private YouTube room for the live streams. So if you want to come and hang out, come and hang out. Make sure you sign up. Okay, so today we're going to talk about self-love and manifesting, because here's the deal. If you don't love yourself, you don't think you're worthy, you don't feel you deserve. So, even if you read my book, The 7 Steps, and you're like, I am a perfection, I totally perfectly can do all of the 6 steps, or the 7 steps. And you get to the last one, which is receiving gracefully. And you have this challenge of self-love. You might get stuck right in step 3, which is asking. Because I know people that have gone through my 7 Steps program back when I had the full-blown coaching program, that got stuck in step 3 of the ask because they felt they weren't worthy or deserving of how to ask for something or to even want something, which is just like, okay, that stifles your creativity in attracting anything because you have to first think of something you want. But if you don't give yourself permission to want something, or that it's okay for you to want something and that you deserve it, that stifles it right there. And then if you say you do everything else perfectly and you get to 7 and you're in receiving mode, but when you get it, you're like, I don't really deserve this. What if it hurts somebody else? Because there's this like old weird Hollywood magic bullshit about, well, magic has a price. And, if I get something, somebody else. No, there is more than enough to go around. Okay. So this is why self-love is so important. And kind of figuring out, do I have any glitches around this? Maybe I do. Who knows? That's for you to kind of sit down and journal about and say, when I think about, this is something you could journal in your journal. Here's a prompt. When I think about asking the universe for something, or when I think about making a list of my intentions, or a vision board, or anything that, you're dreaming out loud, what comes up? Say you put on the vision board, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Scotland. I want to make $1 million this year, right? Say these are some of the things, or think of the thing that you're thinking of, and holding that in that space of dreaming about it, and then asking self, is there any block here? Okay. And then if there is, is there any twitch? Do I have anything around this that's coming up? And then just jot all that down, jot your feelings down, if it's coming up in a color, jot that down, all of that kind of stuff. And then if there's nothing there, kind of move to the next part, which is receiving. So if I am the person who receives this, when I receive this, what would that feel like? And you might be excited, great, wonderful, but dig deeper. Say, is there any resistance here? When I get it and I start, because normally I go, and what does that feel like? And people go, that I feel so great. It feels great to just get that. But then I'm like, okay, tell me, close your eyes and walk through the process of receiving it, and then sit in it. And does anything else come up? Does any of your itty bitty shitty committee shit come up around this? When you're witnessing, are you thinking, if I win the lotto, will cousin Ed show up and ask for money? And I don't want to deal with that. Because if you are in receiving mode, yet you're having these resistance things to the receiving, whether it's, I don't want to deal with the success, or I'm afraid to succeed, or I'm afraid I'm going to fail, or I'm not going to handle the success properly, that vibration, you get the whole thing, and then all of a sudden it's gone. How many times do we hear of lottery winners who win the lotto, and then within a year, it's all gone and they're in debt? Because they're really good at the manifesting, but making sure it's manifested permanently, in a sense of obviously nothing's permanent, but making sure that we are interacting with our intention that has manifested in a healthy way is really dependent on how much we love ourselves. So I'm going to encourage you, there's archangels you can work with, like Zadkiel, who is over compassion and self-love. I work with him every morning talking about help me be more compassionate and loving towards myself. There are wonderful shadow work books by, I think it's Debbie Ford. I love her, that you can work on. And you can also, like I offered earlier, have those daily manifesting mindset practices like in the affirmations, because it's not good enough to sit down and write one affirmation 55 times every day because you're trying to manifest a car. What you want is to change the energy and the vibration within yourself to create an internal environment where you're manifesting the stuff you want rather than manifesting the stuff you don't, because you're going to do one or the other. You might as well manifest what you want, right? So what I'm also going to do is pull a card today, and we're going to ask the universe to tell us through the card as a group, what is something we need to do to love ourselves more over the next month, because I think that's something, and I would love for you to write that down when we finally pull it out, because I'm going to just do it right now. We're going to use our animal deck, the one I love the most. Shh, don't tell the others, they'll be jealous. They're all right down there. Oh, shh. You're my favorite, don't tell. Okay. Oh, awesome. Okay, they want this one. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, interesting. So, snake spirit. Snake spirit, time to heal. What this means when I see this card is, and it's right side up, by the way, so make sure you realize that. So, time to heal. It's time to shed all of the old programming, all the old belief systems. I know I've said this before, but think about what a snake does in its journey. It sheds its skin and it moves forward. It doesn't drag it around with it. Okay. So if you have all of this kind of old baggage dragging around, that's repeating in your head when you do your self-love exercises, and maybe there's some person on your itty bitty shitty committee that's yammering in your head that you're not good enough. It's time to shed that belief. It's time to let that go. It's time to heal all of the crap that you believe about yourself because someone else told you you weren't good enough. That's how you're going to start the loving process. And so we shed it, we cut it, we let it go. And then we have kind of a void, right? Because once you let go of something, there's like an empty vessel there. If you can say to yourself, I'm going to let this go and be okay with the void, because in the void is when I have opportunity to allow in more love. If I can stand in the void for 2 minutes, because here's the other thing, when a snake sheds its skin, it doesn't come out of the skin ready to go. It is the most vulnerable time for a snake, when it sheds its skin and it hasn't fully developed its outer new skin. Kind of like how we've been talking about, we're all in the cocoon and everybody's coming out and their wings are all nasty and covered in goop. Same thing. You're at your most vulnerable time right now as you're emerging from the old, from the letting go, because it's really hard to get honest with yourself. It's really hard because the person you need to be most honest with is yourself. And the one person we generally run away from is us. So to get to the point where we shed the skin and we step into this new outfit, this new clothing of who we want to dress ourselves as, in an authentic way, of course, but like understanding that it's okay to be vulnerable in that moment of transition. It's okay to take your time. It is okay to be in love with yourself. Because it's not like you're a narcissist, or like, what is a narcissist that's like died because he was at the side of the lake looking at his reflection and he didn't eat or sleep or nothing. And we're not talking like that. It's saying, okay, what do I need to nurture myself? And doing that. If that means you need to say no to outings because you need time alone, then you need to say no to outings. If it means I really need to be around people, and this whole pandemic thing is really eating into my social life, it might be, okay, I need to have a Zoom. Who of my friends can I have a Zoom with so that I feel like I'm still in that space of friendship? It might be, I really need to take some time and read a book. I haven't read a book in forever. And because I've been so stressed about work or life or whatever, and I'm gonna do this. And so that's why that time when you decide to start a new positive habit is like the most fragile time you ever think about. That's what they always say. It takes 21 days, like 3 to 4 weeks to get the habit clicking. And in that 3 to 4 weeks, what they don't mention, that is the most vulnerable time for you because you are making a decision, and the itty bitty shitty committee might get loud in that 3 weeks and be self-destructive, self-sabotaging, and say, oh, you don't need to take time to read a book. You're too busy. You need to go to the grocery store. You need to clean the house. What about all the people you live with? What about your kids? What about your partner? All of this. But I'm going to tell you, remember, when you get on the plane, or when we used to get on planes, the thing is, they would say the oxygen mask falls, you put on yourself, and then help your screaming neighbor, okay? They don't say go help everybody else until you pass out and hope to God somebody puts a mask on you, right? But a lot of times we're programmed, especially as women, we're programmed to think we need to nurture everybody else at our own expense. And when you change that mindset, or first you have to make the decision and say, I'm willing to change that mindset, and then actually implement it. And in that in-between time is when you shed that skin and you're most vulnerable to self-sabotage. So I'm going to encourage you to be extraordinarily mindful, especially this week. I'm going to ask you guys to maybe stick in the comments, what is something that I'm going to choose for me this week? What is something I'm going to choose to do for me this week? It might be something small. It might be something big. It honestly doesn't matter, because whatever it is, small, big, in my perspective, is huge for you because you are making a change to nurture yourself. So if you want to, whether you're watching this live with me or you're going to do #replay and make that commitment of what you're going to change, in the sense of, I'm going to commit to doing this one thing for myself. It might be I'm going to read at least, and remember, at least one time. Julia, I've started dancing. Great. So we're going to continue to dance this week. And if for any reason your itty bitty shitty committee comes in and says things like, why are you doing that? Okay. I want you to commit to doing this and say to them, because I love it and I love me. And that's what I'm doing. Okay. So it might be I'm dancing. It might be I'm going to dedicate at least 30 minutes once or twice a week to reading a book that I have for pleasure, not a self-help book, not, unless that's your pleasure. If your jam is self-help, or you find biographies really good, or maybe you're like reading the Outlander series. I have a preoccupation there. Whatever it is, commit to doing something that's going to nurture you in that vulnerability, and put it below so that you can write it out, because it makes it a little more real when you type it out. It makes it really real when you write it out. Okay. But I want you to commit to that this week. Some self-love. I'm not telling you go out and manifest, a pile of gold at the end of the rainbow. I'm asking you to do one thing, small. It might be I'm going to eat better every morning. I'm going to eat breakfast. I'm going to have a banana. I'm going to make something healthy for dinner for myself. And if everybody wants in, they can have it too, but otherwise they can have a picnic night. It might be I'm going to go for a walk. Not, in the Northeast, probably not today or tomorrow because it's snowing, but it might be I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes, at least 5 days this week. Whatever it is that you're going to do to nurture yourself, commit to that and write it below. I would love to see it. But remember, it's time to heal. And when we heal it, we start to love ourselves more. Giving ourselves permission to heal any kind of ick and letting it go, shedding that skin, is so important to your manifesting process. Because if you don't love yourself, it's like the worthiness pops up, the deservability pops up, all of the icky crap pops up, and we don't manifest the stuff we want. We manifest more of what we don't want, and that's not what we want, right? So that's this week. Is our snake spirit is here to tell us, embrace the vulnerability, love yourself, do something that's going to nurture you. And I will see you next week. Remember, sign up, whether the link is here or here, sign up to join the special room for the live stream of this messy bun thing that we're going to move off Facebook so that more people can come. And it's going to be in a place that will not jack your vibe up, which I'm really excited about. And all that other kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, Jamie Calhoun, girlfriend, how are you? I was thinking of you this week. I was going to message you. I have to ask you actually a personal thing. Let's see. She says, I love you. I love you too. You totally reinforce the change I've been focusing on since the beginning of the year. Wonderful to give myself the freedom to say I need to do X today, whatever it is. Funny that you mentioned reading, because that was my big thing last month. I get you, woman, and I get you too, and I appreciate you and love you too. And girl, I have a book for you. And anyone else that in general I'm reading right now. My coach said I needed to read it, and I am reading it and loving it. It's called, I think it's called Essentialism. I can post a link to it when I go find the book because it's in the other room. But it's a great book, especially for us solopreneurs and business folk. But anyways, it's great life advice as well. But anyways, so this week, if you want to start joining me for the lives, because by March 1, probably more like February 15th, I'm going to move all these over to YouTube in a special private room just for the live streams. The replays will be back over here. If you want to be on the live stream and hang out with me live and ask questions and make comments and participate and do all the fun things, you got to sign up in the link above if you're on Facebook, below if you're on YouTube. Also, remember Mercury retrograde, back up your stuff, do all the things. If you need a little mindset boost, head over to the school, and the link is again above or below depending on where you are, and check out the mindset course for 30 days. It takes 30 minutes a day to help you really realign your mindset. And then lastly, if you're in Clubhouse, come hang out tomorrow. I think it's at 12:30. We're going to do Woo's Who Lunch. So if you're a metaphysical business owner, whether you are a card slinger or an accountant or a royalties administrator, and you're on Clubhouse, come and hang out with me over there for lunch. It'll just be an hour because it's going to be lunch hour. And we're going to just network and talk and say hi, because there's really no place to network for woos that's fun and not serious and not promising all kinds of crazy shit. So let's do that. Anyways, we got more comments really quick because I do need to go, but I love hanging out with you guys. So Julia says, this has been so apt today. I am letting go of something significant and embracing my vulnerability. Thank you. Love you lots. I love you too, Julia. And thank you for hanging out and being my UK friend today. Let's see, Meredith replying to, you guys are so funny, Meredith. Meredith and JP are together, which is why them fighting on my comments is hilarious. And I love you, and it's good. The universe is coming at me hard today from all angles. Okay, Meredith, be gentle with yourself. JP, be gentle with Meredith, because she is redheaded. Just remember. But Meredith, give yourself some grace, okay? Again, like I said, it's a vulnerable time when you're healing. So give yourself some grace as you create new nurturing habits for yourself, especially this week. So, and give yourself permission to love yourself. When you find that you're in that tight spot in your body, that's when you need to take a breath, go sit in the bathroom away from the family or the kids. And even though your kid is I keep thinking he's little, but he is not little anymore. But just give yourself permission to nurture yourself, even if you have to close yourself in a room to get a hold of your emotions and take some breathing. Get on Inside Timer and just breathe for a little bit. And then once you feel it, release and give yourself permission. It is safe for me to be calm. It is safe for me. It is safe. And go. Okay? Other than that, give yourselves grace. Love yourself so much. And until next week or tomorrow when I see you on Clubhouse, if you want to come hang out, I guess I'll see you in the vortex. Happy manifesting, my beloved peeps. I love you so much. Bye-bye.